Komatsu wanted to continue the questioning by his further action to swallow back. Warm fingertips in the waist, down gently soothe along the smooth waist to relax his tight nerves. Itch, such as provocative, 1 inch of the skin will be deeply moved by the sensitive. Fingers, in this case the temperature in the burning contact with the skin will not leave the hot scalding. The body in the power subconsciously trembling, but not to the direction of the pace to go to the fingers. I do not know is attracted to the pleasure of touching or touching. Pants faded to the knee, were just tied by hemp rope, stuck the next do not. A loose thought of untie the shackles of the legs, a few strings were thrown to the side, trousers are naturally chopped down. Komatsu's face was burning smell of urine, the brain is a mess of paste, the leg, tied a long time no perception, only with the elevation of the hip bone, a half kneeling down, with his thigh dragging his buttocks. Fingers slide over, trough reflex-like tightening. A loose semi-coaxed him wrapped around his waist, his head rubbed his lips. The kiss is very gentle, sucking some red lips, a hand comfortably down the back to a knees. Komatsu was asked to narrow his eyes, unconsciously relax. Behind the foreign body squeeze in, outside the tentative circle. Komatsu is not suited to twist the front rub on a loose lower abdomen soft cloth, soft like a touch, just back and forth a few kung fu, actually stand up. A pine is also clearly felt arrived in his abdomen, that thins the temperature, agiling, also wandering outside the fingers directly into the never been developed, where the sudden attack, pain. Komatsu hissed out of the air from the teeth. Obviously not ready for the inner wall, astringent to get nervous. A loose heart is also astringent. He did not know he was doing it right, but he really wanted to. He longed for a long time. He takes the momentary tense muscles with a light frequency to make the surrounding soft, and then further exploration. A loose action a little anxious, but the whole is compact enough to promote very slowly. Komatsu is the high position of this back up, back to the head, also from the headache to the end, only Kizu uphold the grievances of swallowing tears. A pine kiss his eyelids, patted the back to comfort. The process of inadvertently rub over a point, Komatsu at once on the whole body soft down, only where the heart not work. Kissed by a loose, low hum-hum. Such as the hands of the ground are numb, an expansion is considered the end of the back or tight, but compared to the previous open a lot. Fingers want to take out, but was severely twisted intestinal meat. A son me frowned, but my heart is falling so piece of breathing a bit thick. Brother, relax. Do not be afraid. He bite Komatsu earlobe in his mouth. Very hot, heaving the tongue open. He used saliva to reconcile the high temperature, the dog teeth nibble near bone. He was doing poor living, said the jerky situation, then, to find stumbled. A lot of action, cannot lead, take this loss. Too much strength between the teeth, Komatsu feel the ear to be bite to wear, front buried in a loose clothing was teased was swollen, but cannot be shown, fill in the back of the fingers move without any rules, nails clamp to the intestinal wall, pain and itching, in addition to rub the prostate, from time to time to bring the point of pleasure, the rest are uncomfortable, heart to heart. Relax and relax. He was inexplicable, then a loose action, then realized what is under their own what. Reason a brief return, suddenly reluctant to up, twist the body struggling. Do not move. Fingers also stuck in the body of others, suddenly so moving up, sphincter also, followed zang together. Hand touches out, dip a little wet. Cat Komatsu Kado, Kaijeo leg will separate. Komatsu dinged legs, back tightly paced the wall, like a fierce attack on the wolf. Sudden resistance to a son by surprise, action paused, from the nasal cavity Kingeo gas, adding a point of strength to break apart his thighs straight, knee into the leg between the perineum position. Pleasure with a roll and suddenly rush to pour straight into the brain, even the resistance of the jin are softened to go. It is only an instant thing, to surrender unexpectedly fast. Komatsu unwilling to all the hands, in a loose grip, on his crotch moment, that the desire to be mad growth of life pressure down. A loose action rare skilled, after all, to solve their own physiological needs, is human nature, do a lot. This is different from doing it for yourself. He twisted the glands, the nails are not about to draw the bell. Can feel the liquid bite out. playing with the palm of the hand to the temperature to touch the touch. Do not know which side is more hot. In short, the palm of your hand, sticky on the genitals, the unfamiliar texture, strange temperature, unfamiliar way, brought pleasures unprecedented. Until he shot himself in the other hand full. Komatsu subconsciously issued a sticky sigh, legs to continue to obey the obedience to open the stock to the crotch between the friendly invitation. Cannot see a loose look, only know that he leaned his waist, neatly took off his pants, and soon Flanagan's foreign body will no longer have any barrier. Life arrived in the stock gap. No matter how rough the foreplay, after all, is to expand the position and the hole to open cheerfully, close to the front of the tip of the swallowed. At first quite easy, never experienced the pleasure of climbing two people full of head and brain, are dizzy, the results will soon be hampered. Beginning personnel, the corridor is still very compact, into the process of the initial period will be difficult. Pain. Corridor is almost to be torn, and the genitals have been squeezed. Pain. Only slowly grinding. The process is simply suffering. Fortunately, a pine still did not give up to take care of their own brother's words. Shot a soft collapse of things in his touch provocative under the rise of the trend. He also not only care about these while he goes forward to advance. Komatsu's jacket also chopped down. He bowed his head to contain Adam's apple, can feel Komatsu swallowing their saliva due to nervous action. He then sucked, as it separated by this layer of flesh and connective tissue, can still suck out the body fluid-like. This cannot make him meet. From the slender neck to the angular butterfly bones, from the smooth shoulder line to the strong chest, lips closed to the skin walk, the place is the lust of the dark red. In the dark, cannot see, bring of the strange but was magnified clearly. Finally, his lips fell on the chest of the milk particles. That raised the excitement, was hard up, was wrapped in a soft tongue, wept at a hurt electric shock-like pleasure. Up and down have been met, but still empty behind. The largest project at this time to complete the half into the retreat is not. The cart is more to die. Komatsu wrapped tightly wound a loose lean waist behind the contraction of the suction to wrap the foreign body. Deep point and more pain. But the pain also tend to be. He remembered before the body of the hand, by which the location is fast, to be able to feel the kind of feeling. To tell the truth, really cool. He carried the hits to a loose belly posted, anxious to hate cannot be inserted in the end, but pain and pain. His vague voice, from the deep throat, cannot be a little faster a song. Sound sticky to be able to taste the skin, penetrate the flesh and bone marrow, scratch the heart itching, like the best aphrodisiac. So a loose also regardless of, holding the weight of the body under the eyes closed, a look like death but the pain a little, the most pain of the Lord no opinion, and he cannot find and then continue to dry consumption reason, to uphold the top, the whole thing, that will be buried. The brain has a short period of hypoxia, pain caused by dizziness soon drowned. Komatsu will suffer more pain, but also the back of the wound, this time also, clamored for the attack together, but still, cover the waves, but wave of the shock of the pleasure of interest. Torn under the pain is the bones of the gum, as was a monster torn to pieces of a past insect bones of the prey corpse. Pain and itch coexistence, pleasure and pain entanglement, overwhelming desire to swallow the lone consciousness. The exposed shoulder bone giraffe wall, uneven feeling actually feels strange, in the back of the uncomfortable. Lower body automatically meet the action on the pumping plug, from the beginning of the intermittent bouncing gradually getting better and better, the corridor in the repeated access to open out and finally no longer so difficult, but not how good. The inner wall is not how wet, the road is astringent, every move seems to be worn out mucous membrane. Perhaps not broken, but the nerve is indeed subject to stimulation. He kept sending pain to the brain message. Komatsu mouth twitching straight. A pine seems to know his difficulties. His fingers stuffed into his mouth so that he biting, took the opportunity to double the tongue and enjoy the softness of his mouth. They have learned the Achu unseen love action films in the exploration attempt to find the body in each other's so-called bliss. This space is quiet enough, only installed under the physical collision with sound, and the water sounds insignificant, as well as both sides a heavy breathing space. Who cannot see who, but easy to find each other's excitement. intertwined mutual desire in the V. I do not know how long after the release has finally been no longer satisfied with a negative distance at this time. Just want to get closer. The opposite person swallowed into his body. Let bone and blood are blending so that the soul is twisted into a wall. You mix me, each other, in each other. How to do cannot be separated. Prostate gland were numb, a strong stimulus, for Komatsu could not help but shot, while the edge was a huge rub, until the urethra tube are swollen spicy. It is estimated that the pain is not necessarily a good few days break. Behind more than redness, and even a little bleeding. To the final pumping of the sound of water finally big, and the price is full of bloody atmosphere of the entire space. The initiator of a loose, do not know, forced to shit in his body. Feel the stop between the stuff soft down. Two people have some force. Our virgin, or son, has always occupied the initiative, and only this moment Komatsu have the opportunity to resort to the last point of the force to his anti-press under the body. The lower body is connected directly, down continue the sweat oozes kiss. He wanted to touch some, they tried to kiss. Become cautious, become meticulous, do not give up every inch of the mouth place, like a taste of delicacy. Kiss, he simply short of the body, directly paced up, hand tentatively hug him, was a loose backhand back a more solid hug. Do not touch the drug. Komatsu in a loose ear and call the heat. He finally able to interrupt the words to continue, a reluctantly smile, nodded. Not allowed before, not later. A loose should be down, stroking his drenched hair. Dare not, and never again. After all, the other is not important, and I have seized you, will not accidentally lost. He secretly thought, a knowingly smile, climbed up the face. Fin.